Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Martians and aliens. We're not speciesists on this channel. Everybody's welcome. My name's Alan, and welcome to Mars, the Second Genesis. Well guys, I was editing my latest video when one of these pop-ups came up telling me that Chris from Mars, Anomalies and Beyond had uploaded a new video. So I couldn't contain my excitement and I whizzed over to Chris's channel and I watched the video. Chris always encourages people to download the images for themselves and check it out. So that's what I did. I downloaded the image from the official NASA website and I applied my unique way of processing to the same image. And lo and behold, both Chris's and my own image show the same thing. Two different processes of enhancement and it shows the same thing. Now the reason why I'm showing the same structure as Chris is not to take away from Chris, because I've got the greatest of respect for Chris, is to reinforce what he said and what he found. And he did an excellent presentation, and I will show you in my way, my processing, pretty much the same thing as Chris found. And it is a structure, 100% Martian structure. So guys, this is the image I downloaded from the NASA site. Exact same image that Chris showed. As you see, it's pretty dark. All I've done with the image is enlarged it. And if you press Ctrl, Alt and the letter I together in Photoshop, it will bring up the image dialog box. I have enlarged it from 72 dpi to 300. And I made the size 20 inches by 10 inches. Okay. Now, one of the things you never, ever, ever, ever do is to shoot into the sunlight. And that's probably why NASA's sensors get dead pixels pretty quickly on Mars. One of the other reasons is you get this sort of thing, because the camera sees there's plenty of light and shuts down the aperture, and that causes the image to be black. Now, if for some strange reason you find yourself in a situation where you must shoot into the light, you don't expose for the sky, you expose for the ground or the shadows and let the sky burn out. And I really don't think they spent over $2 billion on a rover, equip it with crappy cameras that churn out the crap that they're dishing out to us, and give themselves no way to override the automatic exposure. It just wouldn't happen. And you certainly wouldn't employ Stevie Wonder to drive the rover about the surface of Mars. And I think that's what they're doing. That's why they're missing all the real obvious stuff, like, this is a bloody structure, NASA. Are you stupid idiots? I believe they have done this on purpose. It's a bold statement, but it definitely is done on purpose, because they've got many obfuscation techniques, and this is one of them. On the second layer, I shall enable that, and as you can see, I've lightened it a bit, and we've got this vignette, or a bit of a vignette, on the edge of the image, which is a problem. This was pretty much as good, really, as I could get the image without doing some serious enhancement work. So NASA have done their job, and that is obfuscating the image so that you don't see what it really is. Let's jump in here to my enhancement. Yes, that is what is there. I've done it a wee bit dark because it's easier on the eyes. So there's a lot to cover here, guys. I'm going to try not to repeat what Chris covered. I would recommend you to go on to the Mars Anomalies and Beyond channel and watch Chris's excellent presentation of the same image. By the way, this image was captured on Sol 3223 and it was a navcam image, and I will put the link in the description. You can get the same link from Chris's channel as well. I'll put the link in the description along with the link for the enhanced image that you can download from our Google Drive. The first thing I'm going to do is zoom in and pan through from left to right. I'll do the bottom first and then I'll do the top. And you can see all this is basically shaped metal. It's not rocks. Now the top area was very, very difficult to actually enhance because it was a JPEG and it was a low resolution JPEG at that, and it was underexposed. So in these sort of circumstances, getting detail out of it is very difficult. Now guys, before we go any further, I'm going to rotate this to straighten things up. These lines, I believe this is the correct orientation for this. This is one of NASA's obfuscation techniques. They rotate the horizontals, parallel horizontal lines and vertical lines. They rotate the image or parts of the image so that those horizontal lines or vertical lines don't give away that it's a structure. We just think it's rock structures, but actually, if you look at the top of this, it's now level, and we have got this here, which is 90 degrees to that. And if you look at this part here, that's parallel to that. So that's a good indication that this is a structure, because we've got parallel lines. Look from there to there. So guys, this is what I believe they're doing, and I have got further examples that I'll show you in various videos from now on, and I'll point this out. Once you're made aware of this, you will see in every image examples of this and what they're doing. It is unbelievable what these guys are doing to these images. But anyway, we've got the correct orientation. And we can see here, this is probably an entrance. And we've got this here, and that there is parallel lines. I'll draw this in and show you. This line here, and that line there, right, goes through, and that there, they're two parallel lines. We've got that there and that there, those two parallel lines. And they're vertical. It may be hard to see on the video, but we have got the structure comes along, drops down at 90 degrees. is across at 90 degrees and then comes back up and then moves up again. And I believe it curves round because we can see it here. I believe this is my best guess at the orientation of this building. It's crazy what they're doing. I'm going to get through a few bits and pieces that I'd like to point out, and as I say, go to the Google Drive, download the image, and you can look at it for yourself. Now, the first thing I'll point out here, see all these black bits? These are not shadows. I believe these are holes. This part here, I'd like to draw your attention to. And look at that. We have something that is circular. It just looks like shaped metal. And we've got these bits coming off it. And just look at this. Another thing I would like to point out to you is this shite. You know, the bump mapped pattern. And it looks as if you're looking through a mottled glass window where it distorts the image behind it. And you can't see it properly. They map this garbage to what's there. What they do is they use the original image and they create what's known as a high contrast bump map. And then they use that bump map to tell Photoshop how to wrap the texture that they're adding to the image, how to distort it. So it looks as if it wraps round and becomes part of that image. Now, another way of visualising this is, let's just say we've got a wee Martian walks along and throws a texture blanket over a structure. You will see that texture and you will see the shape of what's below the texture blanket. You'll not see any details. That's bump mapping. That will give you an idea. It's like if you've got a picture of a whiskey bottle and you want to put your own label that you've designed on that, and if the label is square and you put that on top of that bottle, well, it's not going to look right. If you create a high contrast bump map from the whiskey bottle image, Photoshop can then use that to tell it how to actually bend and warp the square label to conform to the contours of the bottle. And it will give the illusion that the label has always been on the bottle, or the texture has always been over the landscape, not just something that's copy and pasted on top of the bottle. Now, the problem you've got with bump mapping is Photoshop will blend the high contrast bump map shadows and highlights in with the texture, or in this case the label, to make it look part of the structure, the landscape, or the bottle. So although we can't see deep below the texture, we can bring back the outline of the object below the texture. And that's why when Chris uses the burn tool, he's bringing back those original high contrast pieces from the bump map, showing the outline of the object that was there. My method is different. I don't use the burn tool, but we get the same results in the end. I will get round to making a video showing bump mapping in action. So that's 2 of the obfuscation techniques. Well, 3, including the underexposing it. When you underexpose an image and turn it into a JPEG, you lose the majority of your contrast and it will be all grainy. Even if you brighten up the image, it will look very flat, and no matter what you do, You can't bring that contrast back. It's gone. See this here? That part there is parallel to that. You can actually see the bits that are horizontals. That piece there, which is a structural element, that piece there, that piece is horizontally parallel to that piece. So it's pretty clever what they do, but the mistake they're making is assuming that everybody's as stupid as them. So you can see all this is bent metal. Look at this. You can see some rivets or bolts on that piece there, where the wee cursor is. There's some pipes or tubing or cables. You can see it below this obfuscation here. This seems to step up. You can see there, I mean, that part there is pretty clear, the way it forms. Now this piece here comes along and it goes up a bit, along and up. It's like stepped, if you know what I mean. And that's a big hole. Look at that there. And if you look here, we've got parallel lines. It looks like structural beams. If you map all your parallels, you'll be able to orientate structures properly. That's if you're doing anomaly hunting and enhancement work. That's how to find them. And this, I'm pretty sure this maybe be, maybe some sculptures on either side of a door. And maybe that's the door into the building. Look as if we've got something circular there. So you can see here, if you look at these lines, the way they go up and meet this. There's too many fractal lines in this not to be a structure. We've got this here, that line. We've got another line here, which is parallel to that. It's nearly parallel to this line. The line to the public people, as Chris says, the scale of what they are doing is unbelievable. And in the next few weeks, Dave and myself is going to be showing you something that would make us look insignificant. Just wait, I don't want to spoil it for you. Anyway, that'll wrap up the video and I'll catch you in the next video.